Hello to you all and welcome to a GPAI Paris Summit Day 2. It's a pleasure, of course, to greet you here in person for the second day at l'Institut France or there, just behind your screens, for this hybrid format. Thanks for joining us again for this second day of the summit. I'm still Marjorie Paillon and I will drive you today to more exciting developments on artificial intelligence with our experts from civil society, academia, industry, and governments. Yesterday, GPAI made the news by welcoming 6 new member governments: Belgium, Czech Republic, Denmark, Israel, Ireland, and Sweden, 12 points. As you know, thank you very much. I see that people are definitely here and are following. Thank you so much. As you know, I'll need your help during this session to address questions to our panelists. If you have a question or a reaction, feel free, of course, to post it in the chat module right here in the platform where you are following this event live, or to raise your hand if you're sitting in the room with us, and Nostes will provide you with a mic. So now, let's see what Day 2 has in store for us. Of course, as you know them, our side event formats get us to debate on how human-centric AI can be fostered in an innovative way and navigate regulation. We'll also see how it can be a powerful tool to help achieve societal SDGs. We'll also keep on reviewing the result of the GPAI working groups on crucial questions such as pandemic and data governance. And for now, let's see what it means in terms of innovation and commercialization. Without further ado, we'll dive definitely in this very first working group for this morning and understand better how to innovate and commercialize IA-powered solution with our next guests. And in this session, we'll definitely see how fast SMEs are adopting AI, since it could trigger a new production revolution, radically transforming business practices and conditions, but yet small business can still show some barriers to adoption. This is definitely what we're about to dive into with you here on this stage. Ingo Hoffmann, you're the Managing Director of AI Hamburg and the member of the Board of Directors of ADI Innovation in Germany. Lawrence Liu, you're joining us online live from Singapore. You're the Director of AI Industry Innovation at AI Singapore. Then we'll also see why the IP is key to foster AI-driven innovations. We'll definitely dive into it with Jan Dietrich. Jan, you're the Group Head of Intellectual Property at Atos in France. And Hiroshi Maruyama, I'm so sorry to screwing up your name, Hiroshi Marumaya. You're a PFN Fellow at Preferred Network Incorporated, Product Professor at University of Tokyo, and Executive Fellow at Kao Corporation in Japan. I hope I said it perfectly well. And eventually, we'll definitely learn about how agriculture and farming are making a real difference in adopting AI. And we'll see that with Inma Martinez, your technology pioneer and IA scientist, independent expert on industrial and societal digital transformation in Spain. Thank you so much for joining us. And now, last but definitely not the least, of course, we'll address the achievements and vision of this working group with you, François Soulier-Fogelman. You're a scientific advisor for Hub France IA, of course, in Paris. And Jean-François Gagné, you're joining us online, the founder of Element AI, VP of AI Strategy and Product Management for ServiceNow in Canada. All that being said, Françoise, I pass it on the mic to you.
Thank you very much.
With a mic.
Thank you very much, if it works.
Yes, it
works. Does. Can I have a next slide, please? So I'm very happy to be here with Jean-François, even though for Jean-François probably it's the middle of the night, so if
Yeah.
you're a little bit asleep, it's okay. The scope of our group, INC as we call it, is very surprisingly about innovation and commercialization. So basically, our group is motivated by everything we can do to help companies to develop their product, put them on the market in an innovative way, and respecting all the OECD rules for AI. So this is what we have. We have a special focus on SMEs in our mandate, and this is what we have been taking over this first year, and which basically we're going to try to show you. We have been working with experts from 20 countries. It's been one of these good things about GPAI is that we get the feedback from many different views in different countries, and we see in some heated discussions sometimes that not everybody agree, but the value of sharing the knowledge is really significant. And as you will see from the work presented by Lawrence in Singapore, we've benefited a lot from expertise from other groups. So if I can get the next slide, Jean-François might comment at one point if he wants, of course. So we decided for this year to work on 2 concrete projects focusing on SMEs. And here we have two topics which are important, concrete, that is to say we want to have projects that we can really use everywhere in our member states, very concrete projects, not paperwork, but projects. And then we want to have something which we can have an effect on SMEs. So the first project is the broad adoption of AI for SMEs. How can we help SMEs to better use AI, or even to start using AI, which is a big mess actually today. The second one is about the intellectual property, and we will see that again we have problem for SMEs who are too small to have the background to know these things, so we decided to launch a project on that. Very simple, concrete project for SMEs. Now, we created, if I can have a next slide, 2 committees, plus 1, 2 committees for the project. So one for broad adoption of AI by SMEs, which are co-led by Ingo here and Lawrence online. Another one is for protecting the IP on AI, which is co-led by Jan here and Hiroshi online. And we have planned for a third committee for next year, and this is for Inma here, which is going to be about the adoption of AI by SMEs, which are actually farmers. That is to say, the agriculture and farming industry is very critical to many of our economies, and we want to be able to provide solutions for them. So without much more time on this, unless Jean-François has a comment. Jean-François, if you're here, do you want to talk?
I'm there. All good, thank you.
You're fine, okay. Thank you. So without going further, please can I get the next slide, and I will, I think, pass the mic to Lawrence online. Are you here, Lawrence?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so probably the next slide. Go ahead now, Lawrence, yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lawrence from Singapore, the co-chair of this committee. We'll start with the objectives and recommendations, and followed by a demonstration of the outcome of the recommendations. And we'll close with my co-chair, Mr. Ingo Hoffman, where he will share our plans for 2022. Next. SMEs are an important part of our economies. They typically employ up to 80% of a country's workforce and contribute up to 70% of a country's GNP. Our committee's goal is to get more SMEs to adopt AI to stay relevant. However, they face challenges in adopting AI, such as the lack of skills, knowledge, data, and most importantly, reliable and trustworthy advisors who can guide them. To address these challenges, the committee deliberated and have developed a set of recommendations that have been actualized in the form of a web portal, which we believe will help our SMEs in their AI journey and adoption. Next. The SME Solution Portal implements the committee's recommendation in an actionable form. The portal provides the following key capabilities. One, a simple AI maturity classification tool, which can be done in 10 to 15 minutes by answering 12 multiple choice questions. This AI maturity classification will help the SME understand where they are in their AI journey compared to their peers and those in the industry. It will provide a set of recommendations on the next course of action the SME can take based on their classification. Two, the portal provides a search and matching capability to match SMEs' AI requirements to validated AI solution providers. This is the work that will be done in 2022, the validation of AI solution providers. Three, the portal will also provide the SMEs with GPAI recommendations and guidelines for AI training resources, workshops, targeted specifically for the SMEs to help them accelerate their adoption of AI. Next. An important aspect of the portal is the various AI success stories from other SMEs in similar domains. These are projects already completed by validated AI solution providers. We identified several key concerns, such as the problem statement, the cost of implementation, the availability of funding, whether is it private or government, the implementation timeline, expertise required, and the showcase of the provider's experience. The portal specifically asks the AI solution provider to list this information upfront to enable the SMEs to find the right use case quickly and understand what is required when deploying such a solution. Next. We created the GPAI AI Maturity Index for SMEs to help them identify their AI readiness and to find appropriate approaches to adopt AI based on their AI maturity levels. To ensure broad adoption, we kept it very simple. 10 to 15 minutes, 12 MCQ questions, which covers people readiness, ethics and governance, business value, data readiness, and IT readiness. We will show the use of this GPAI AI Maturity Index in a video shortly. Next. Very briefly, the Maturity Index classifies SMEs into 4 categories: AI unaware, AI aware, AI ready, or AI competent. The SME can use this result to guide their approach in adopting AI. For example, SMEs in the AI unaware category would be recommended to become AI literate and to go for basic AI courses such as AI for Everyone. And in terms of solution, to actually just acquire off-the-shelf AI products and solutions. Based on our experience, the majority of SMEs will be either AI unaware or AI aware, and hence the need for our portal to help match them to potential solution providers. Next. Let's watch a quick demonstration of this solution portal, after which my co-chair, Mr. Ingo Hoffman, will walk you through our 2022 activities. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, this is a brief demonstration of the portal that addresses the challenges of AI adoption that that SMEs face. A typical SME may have little or no clue what sort of AI solutions are suitable for them, or only have a vague idea of common AI use cases in their industry. So, the SME could use the search bar and enter his interest, say, delivery route optimization. The portal will then present use cases that match this search. In this demo, we have one match. The SME could click on the use case to view further information, such as the problem statement, the solutions, and the impact on the employees, if any. We have highlighted important information that the SMEs are interested in at the top of the page, such as the cost of implementation, project duration, and funding available. We also indicate who the AI solutions provider is, which the SME could find out more information about. The AI solution provider profiles show who they are, the sector they work in, and the various AI use cases they have done. Note that the portal admin validates the solutions providers listed through a set of governance criteria. This addresses the challenges of SMEs finding validated AI solutions providers and give the SME an idea of the various AI projects done by peers in the industry. To make it easy for the SME to learn about AI, this portal section can list resources such as AI training materials and workshops. The portal admin could create the links to the in-country resources or upload the resources here. To encourage the SME to accelerate the adoption of AI, it is also good to allow them to benchmark where they are compared to their peers. The GPAI AI Maturity Index, or IMI, provides such a tool. By answering 12 multiple choice questions that won't take more than 15 minutes to complete, the SME can understand his organization AI maturity. IMI assesses the organization readiness, ethics and governance readiness, business value readiness, data readiness, and infrastructure readiness. Each of these areas contains multiple choice questions. Together, they provide a comprehensive overview of the AI maturity of the organization. Upon completing the assessment, the SME will receive a report showing their AI maturity. The SME will be classified as AI unaware, AI aware, AI ready, or AI competent. The report then explains to the SME how to interpret the result of the assessment, what it means for them, and what they could do to adopt AI. The report also compares their peers in the industry and sector, which will help the SME to understand which specific dimensions they are performing better or lagging behind their peers. Lastly, the report will also guide the SME in interpreting the result of the assessment, such as what it means for them and what they can do to adopt AI. With this, we conclude the demo. Thank you.
And that's for the platform. Ingo, what do you have in store still on this part of the project to better understand the broad adoption of AI when it comes to SMEs globally?
Yeah, so let me briefly discuss what we are planning for the next year and the next phase. First of all, we want to conduct some field tests with the solution that you just saw with the selected organizations in GPAI member countries. This will help us to gain first-hand feedback, understand how it is used and how we can improve what we have done so far. It will also help us to see how this can be integrated with other solutions that might already exist in the member countries. And of course, we also want to see the content that will be developed using the portal, especially use cases that then might be shared between the member countries. In addition to that, we have two new work items that we want to address. One is a governance framework for the portal and the solution that addresses questions and processes around protection of data, data security, and data privacy of the data that is provided to the platform. But also the question of the quality of the solutions. For example, the question of do they follow the OECD and GPAI guidelines, which is of course very important. A second work stream will be around a AI readiness index for the solution providers that Lawrence mentioned. And that really will look at the quality and also the complexity of the requirements from the solution side. And that is, of course, important if we then want to map what SMEs require with what the solution, with the solutions that can be provided, and will make the quality of those matches better, as we hope and as we will see. All of that, we hope, is ready by Q3 next year, and will then be available to all the GPAI member states.
And now, without further ado, let's pass it on to the next project, or the other ongoing project, actually, which is all about protecting AI innovation and the IP, because yes, IP is key.
So I think we are going to basically pass the map for Hiroshi. Hiroshi, if you're here. He has
Yes,
a
I'm here.
And there is a video, right, that we have taped. So please
Yes.
to hear yourself talking. Go ahead.
It's an inception of Hiroshi.
Greetings. I am Hiroshi Maruyama, co-lead of IP Committee of GPAI Innovation and Commercialization Working Group. The goal of IP Committee is to achieve a deeper understanding of challenges that organizations face in the areas of IP as it relates to AI. So this includes to understand things such as current effective IP laws, or to understand the best practices, activities, mechanisms related to IP, and also how individual organizations are currently handling IPs, and what are the differences between different geographies in terms of the jurisdictions. I'm going to cover the 2021 achievements, and my colleague, Jan Dietrich, is going to talk about the 2022 plans. First, 2021 achievements. So we started our activities just 12 months ago, and since then, we have been holding bi-weekly meetings and discuss various aspects of intellectual properties around AI. And to produce some tangible results in the first year, we decided to focus on two things. One is to produce a small booklet, which we call a GPAI IP primer. And this is a short booklet guide for helping startup companies and SMEs that develop or use AI technologies and how they are going to manage their intellectual properties. And then the second activity is to verify the usefulness of GPAI IP primer by conducting case studies against companies around the world. I'm going to explain each one in turn. GPAI IP primer is a small booklet, and it covers various aspects of AI IP around the AI. It has 5 sections, 5 chapters. The first chapter is to explain what are the IPs. And then we explain how IP is related to AI. So, AI is a new technology, and there are challenges how IP around the AI is to be handled. And then chapter 3 is talk about the differences between jurisdictions, because different countries have different laws regarding IP. And the chapter 4 is to explain how you can manage IPs in your countries. Chapter 5 is in a Q&A. It had also a big table in Annex, which compares IP laws in various jurisdictions. In the current version, we have 4 countries, or 4 regions: EU, US, Canada, and Japan. So once this GPAI IP primer was prepared, we moved on the next one, which is case studies. We asked GPAI members to nominate the companies to be interviewed, and we selected the following 8 companies to be interviewed. And we conducted the interview and asked them to read GPAI IP primer through and give us some feedback. The overall rating of their usefulness of GPAI IP primer is actually very high, which is the average 8.1 out of 0 to 10 scale. And 0 is useless, and 10 is most useful. So 8.1 is actually very high as a usefulness of GPAI IP primer. Some of the feedback that we've got is like IP strategy varies depending on the situation of the company. Some companies decided to go after the protecting the patents, or other companies decided to spend their resources not only protecting the IP, but producing the IP. Also, many companies express a concern about the use of open source technologies in terms of the IP. And to relate it to AI technology, the big unknown is that how we can reuse the pre-trained models that are published on the web page. Also, some companies located in Asia express that they want to see more jurisdictions coverage in the GPAI IP primer. So these findings will be incorporated in the next versions of IP primer. So at this point, I would like to hand it over to Jan Dietrich, who is going to talk about the 2022 plans. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hiroshi. So the plans for 2022 is to develop what we call an IP expert, and which will focus really on a next level issue we identified and which hindered or which may hinder the development of some startups and SMEs. Again, the idea behind this document is really to focus on what can be the issue for the adoption of AI by SME and startup, not necessarily to focus on more scholar work or more theoretical works around IP legislation, but really to what can be the issue really for this company, and especially when it comes to IP. So we are trying to understand all the IP implication around data and AI. There's a lot of legislation happening all around the world, and especially in Europe. We are trying to really understand on the IP aspect what will be the issue it may create. There is some willingness in some case to increase IP protection, and that may actually make it more difficult to share data. In some other case, a weak protection may actually also be an issue because it may not necessarily foster investment as well. So this is the kind of things we are trying to anticipate, because all the companies are navigating through this legislative maze. We are trying to find some way as well about how can we foster data access, data sharing, flows of data. This could be some initiatives at WTO levels, but there's as well more, sometimes more practical initiatives. Hiroshi mentioned open source. We are starting to see as well some open data mechanism. Can they be helpful, not helpful? And all these kind of things are the stuff we are seeing some company, again, struggling with. Hiroshi mentioned the reuse of trained models, which is a very big trend as well, because you're starting to have mega trained model, and in some cases, rather than developing a new trained model with a new set of data, it's actually more effective to use this mega trained model, or I think it's called by Stanford the foundation models. And again, there is agreement, there is some legalities around that, and again, how do you navigate through that? We are also planning to look at harmonization of patenting. And here it's basically to understand whether there is, whether it makes sense actually to promote some form of harmonization because of the inefficiency it creates. Again, there is a lot of societal debate around patenting. Here the idea is not to feed into that, but to look at what the inefficiency it may create. For example, we had experience in the past with software patent, and the lack of harmonization was creating additional cost. As a lawyer, and if I was an outside counsel, I would be happy with it because it creates more business. But when you're an SME and a startup, you may disagree with the additional cost it put on you. So that's one of the aspects where we need to look at whether all this lack of harmonization is actually helping or just creating additional burden. And again, we'll work on all these IP issue we identified with the IP primer, consolidate all of that, do further case studies, because again, we need to understand from the startup what are the real issue and consolidate all of this in a document which we'll call the IP expert. And again, this document is the same audience, startup and SME, but to get them to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And now, Françoise.
Yes, thank you for this. So this is what we've done so far. We are also launching for next year a new project, which Inma is going to talk about.
Thank you, Françoise. Can we have the next slide, please? So this project derives from Project One, which is how to introduce AI into small, medium enterprises. But specifically, it addresses the needs and requirements of a sector that is in profound transformation in this century because of many challenges that we face, not just climate change, but the need for us to manage resources in crops and in animal exploitation much, much better and in optimized way. And for the AI community, it creates a new data set that no one has and no one has access to, which is biological data from nature and animals, and our need to collaborate and build repositories of this data, not just to optimize agriculture and farming practices, but also for us to have control of plagues, of perhaps transformations into the food chain, into human eating. We need to have control and management of these. And it goes beyond the challenges that arable land is decreasing in the world as, you know, we have going to reach, 7 billion population very soon. And also changes in our mindset as a culture, more and more plant-based products. So agriculture needs to start adapting to these new requirements, and also safety in the animal-human chain. One of the aspects of the project is that it has an enormous value when it comes to the work, because if we connect the countryside, if we have connectivity there, which is what's happening now, the agro and farming sector can become a new tech sector, which means many young people working in technology will come to the countryside to work in this sector, which means that the negative net migration that rural areas have had until now, suffering from this, will actually be reversed. The pandemic showed everyone that when you take your family and you move to the country, you can actually work from a small village. But bringing technology to the agro-farming sector also proves that technology is now coming into it. So it has a kaleidoscope of values and benefits, not just bringing AI. If we move to the next slide. So AI in this sector has already been used. It's only that it has been used in silo projects, small projects in small farms, and no one really is aware of the benefits and the case studies. So our project aims to become a repository of success stories that people can learn exactly what AI can do. And AI can do many, many things. It can detect and create precision tasks that, you know, machines are better than us to do. It optimizes processes. It does prediction, and we need to start predicting crops and predicting animal behavior, etc., And also very important for us is track and tracing crops, but also, you know, anything that can come into the animal-human chain. So it has a lot of potentiality. It's not just one gear. It offers a plethora of AI practices. And if we move to the next slide, what we're trying is to create a three-pronged approach. Basically, an awareness phase. We are going to reach out to the agricultural associations, to the ecosystem of AI and IoT and tech companies that actually work in this sector, and start connecting with them to create, you know, what are the needs that we need to address. And then we're going to start creating an accessibility phase, which is we're going to put AI solutions that have been successful and that can be scaled up in other territories. So each member country will be able to benefit from these and deploy it in their own localities. And then third, we are going to build a resources portal, basically not just literature and libraries with how to create a digitized farm, are you AI ready as a farm, but also downloading algorithms that have already been trained for specific projects. One of the biggest drawbacks in AI is that you need to train algorithms with big sets of data. And because we don't have big sets of agro-farming data, it's vital that we build a repository of this data in a centralized base where everybody can access to, as if it was public data. So we aim to compile these as the last part of the project. And that's it.
Thank you very much. So, Françoise, let's try to look forward on the next project of this group. What can we say about it?
So if I can have the next slide, please. I suppose it's up. So basically, next year, we're going to work on, at the present time, 3 projects. But we can always come up with new ideas, you know.
Absolutely.
So first one is going to be follow-up. So we're going to, as Ingo explained before, we're going to improve on our platform for broad adoption of AI by SMEs. And basically here, to tell you the truth, we have 2 challenges. Number one, we want to improve the matching between AI providers and AI consumers, which is a critical step. We have various solutions that we're evaluating at the present time, but need to do it. And second, and possibly most important, is to have people in the different member states actually take over this platform, deploy it, and use it. We see this platform as an accelerator for making projects or programs targeted at adoption of AI by SMEs. So we are discussing with a few people we've met here, actually, and this is what our big challenge is. And the second one is to work on IP, as Jan discussed. This is still a lot of open questions that we don't have solutions yet for that, especially about the protection of data and all these topics. So we need to deep dive into this topic and bring out things which could be really useful in practice for companies. And the next one, again, is going to be this new topic that Inma has brought us, which we think is a very important topic for many, many member states, not all of them, as Lawrence in Singapore told us, there is not much agriculture in Singapore. But most of our countries are very much in need of solution for that. One other topic which we need to completely accelerate on is to have more collaboration with other working groups. You will hear about the data governance group after us, I think. And obviously, when you talk about protecting the IP of data, you need to talk with the data governance thing. So we will work more with them. Because again, GPAI is a lot about sharing information, sharing best practices, and building up of everything, I want to express, before closing, a big thank to Lawrence and Turnpo in Singapore. A lot of the work you've seen is really their work. They really worked extremely hard for that. So big thanks for them because they brought a lot of their knowledge into this. Not to say that Hiroshi has not worked, of course he has, right? Like Viviane. Next year we will have a change of head in this group, so I will welcome my next co-chair afterwards. So maybe our ex-co-chair will like to see a word to close. Jean-François, if you're here, still awake. 3 o'clock?
Still there. Thank you, Françoise.
Yeah.
No, thank you to everybody. I think this has been a year where we all learned to work together and to see everybody finally make the push to make these projects happen was great to see. So.
Thank you very much. Well, you have a lot in stores and a lot on your plate actually for 2022. We might have some time to take 1 or 2 questions if you want to deep dive into any of the projects this working group is currently working on. And of course, I mean, it's a great opportunity, I guess, also to try to see how to, work better together. Yesterday, for instance, we're talking with all of the other working group about more opening databases so that actually, new initiatives don't have to start from scratch, but can definitely benefit and build on the work already been done. So maybe it's also a great idea when it comes to agriculture, farming, SMEs, and the way that we can better foster AI adoption for those businesses. We do have one question in this room.
Hello. Yes. Hi there. Really great presentations. Thank you so much. Quick question about, I guess, how much research has already been done into the number of service providers that are already out there that can provide AI solutions where the market needs them? And if there is any sort of gap, whether there's an interest in capacity building among AI solution providers, potentially through the use of the portal and the data that you gather through that portal about areas of need among SMEs. Thank you.
I'll take this and then I pass to my colleagues. Basically, one thing maybe we didn't make clear enough is that the portal we've built is not going to be activated by GPAI, it's going to be activated by each member state. So I take your question as a French person as whether do we have a mapping of AI providers in France? Yes, we do. But it's not done in GPAI, it's done in other institutions. At Hub France AI, we're doing this, for example. So each member state is going to do that and analyze what is there and what is missing. Probably different answer in Germany, maybe not.
No, not at all. But I think the key, there are two things. One is each country is different at this stage. So in Germany, for example, we have an AI association of AI startups that have a mapping done for SMEs already, which nicely could be integrated in the portal because we don't really have that maturity assessment on a simple level as we provided for small and mid-sized organizations with the GPAI maturity index. So each member state is different. We try to find the organization to work with in those member states. And of course, what we believe and what we hope is that then there will be an exchange between the member states. Because why not using some solutions from Germany, also in France or in Singapore or in Mexico or in India? So that, I think, will hopefully be what makes really the value of this approach, is that it fosters the collaboration between the member states.
Yeah, it's basically the portal is going to be localized in each member state, and maybe Lawrence or Hiroshi, you might have things to say on that. I don't know whether you want to comment.
Yeah, this is Lawrence. Yeah, as more people use the portal, we will also be able to find gaps in the AI solutions provider space. So, for example, if we have a lot of SME asking for a specific solution, and we find that there's actually not enough AI solution providers in this space, or if there's none, it also means that the in-country organization that's running this portal will now have the information to say, hey, there's this gap. Can we go and find AI solution providers or go and groom them to be able to handle this gap that the SMEs are asking for? So this is one of the big insight that such a portal can generate. The other one, which we didn't have an opportunity to show, is that if we have 10, 20, or 100,000 SMEs using the portal, and they coming from across the various sector, you will actually now all of a sudden get a mapping of how matured your SMEs are in terms of their AI adoption across the whole country. And that will again provide decision makers, policy makers, ideas of where are the gaps and what new programs can be created to actually help them.
Thank you very much. Let's take a second question, just right at the very top of the auditorium.
Thank you. So I have actually two questions. One is on IP. Since IP is territorial, I wanted to ask at what level you are working with authorities. Are you working at the national level, EU level, or WIPO level? And the second question is if you are doing anything to harmonize, the needs on a different sector in terms of ecosystem control, for instance, common standards and so on, because of course there's an interdependency growing. Yeah, I think I will stop there. Thanks.
Maybe the first question on IP, Hiroshi can take it, and then we'll dive into the rest of the answers.
Right. So the first thing that we focused in the first year of this the committee project activities is to understand the current situation or current status of the IP systems. So we focus on putting together the information about the current state of the IP, and the next year on, we are going to discuss about what the IP systems should be in the future.
Thank you very much, Jan.
And we are trying to focus as well on low-hanging fruits, given the timeline in which startups and SMEs and in general companies are living with. So there's always this gap between what you can achieve through maybe informal mechanisms. So, for example, promoting new licenses for sharing data, which is something which can be done very quickly, versus changing an IP legislation, which will take time. So at the moment, we have not set up really collaboration with WIPO or any other governmental organization, but that's part of the things we will look at it. But again, we will also look at whether there is not other solution which can be more effectively set up quickly.
And then on the the other side of the question was definitely about the harmonization of sectors. You're working across sectors. You're definitely focusing on for the next year on farming and agriculture. But do you have in mind some type of standard that could actually work for everyone and across sectors out there?
On IP, we are working. We're not sector specific really. So it's really focusing on the AI technology and how we can protect them, so a startup and SME can get better.
So I guess the answer is definitely working across sectors. We still have one question. That's the last one we'll take actually on this session because we have to move on then.
Hello, my question is on AI for SMEs. And speaking about localization, in a country like India, where many SMEs are, large legacy businesses, which are still grappling with digitization per se. So for them, showing the business case for AI obviously will be more difficult. So for them, are there risks of not adopting AI across their value chain? If there are risks for them, is that something that we'll be able to show through this portal? Do you have any suggestions for that?
I can take it, or Lawrence? Basically, one thing which is clear is that SMEs are very different depending on the countries. We find mostly SMEs which are what we call AI unaware, as Lawrence explained before, meaning SMEs who have started to digitize but are not there yet. And very often we hear that, for example, adopting AI, you need to be fully digitized, all your data are clean and nice. This is not true. I've seen projects done in SMEs where the data were not, perfect, but they were still enough that we could do so that the SME could gain from AI. So really, I always think that what we are doing is showing an SME the first step. And the first step is not as high as they think. The first step is actually much lower. How can we make it lower and lower? And showing successes, showing SMEs who might, have short videos and explaining their stuff in their own word. An SME who tells you about how they did their first project in AI will never talk about AI. They will talk business. So the recipe for success, I think, is really to address the needs of the SMEs in business terms, explain them that they can do better in their own terms. I'm not going to talk about deep learning and federated learning to an SME, never ever, right? So this is the trick we have to play with them, to explain in their own language. And I think Lawrence has a lot of experience in that, or Ingo actually in Germany. But the trick is in GPAI, we're benefiting from that. I'm doing something in France, they're doing stuff in Germany, they're doing stuff in Singapore, and we can merge all our ideas and all our bag of tricks, and the bag is bigger. Yep.
Wonderful. Who wants to maybe complete this? Lawrence, maybe you wanted to add something on this question?
So Francois, I think summarize it very clearly, and we are all aware most of SMEs are not digital, and we don't expect them to be. But that doesn't mean that they cannot start using digital tools that are actually powered by AI. And that's one of the reasons why in the AI solution portal, we hope to have use cases which actually shows how a non-digital SMEs is actually using AI-powered solution, right? Probably running on the cloud or on a mobile phone. We have to remember, we do not expect these people to actually, these AI unaware SMEs, to actually build a model. They are just going to pay $5, $10 a month and consume an application. And this application will probably have AI embedded in it, and the SME that doesn't need to know about, what algorithm or what model it is, right? So the work of this task force really is trying to get as many of the AI unaware SMEs, educate them, to let them know what are the various solutions that's out there can help them in their business, and move them to AI aware.
Thank you very much. Yes, indeed, AI means business. Thank you so much to the 8 of you, because I'm including, of course, Taryn, Paul, Lim to this panel. Thank you so much for your perspective, and good luck with the work upcoming for 2022. You are released from duty.
Thank you.
With some applause, please. Thank you.